Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshitarine. नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतुसे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण. So we welcome everyone for today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So yesterday we discussed from chapter 1, verse number 32 to 35. So today also we'll discuss something about these four verses and read the purport as well. So this is the second reason Arjuna is giving why he doesn't want to fight. So this is the first reason. What was the first reason? Can anybody tell? And what is the second reason? We discussed yesterday. Yes. Thank you very much. Yes. So these were the two reasons. First reason Arjuna explained, which was stated by him in verse number 28 of this chapter. Drishtva swajanam imam Krishnam. The first time Arjuna says that seeing my relatives and friends, I am feeling that my limbs of my body is shivering and I'm unable to stand here. Like this, he was feeling excessive attachment, because of which he was feeling, he was fearful, loss of fear of losing his friends and relatives, which is because of excessive attachment for them. So that was the first reason. We can also say fear of losing the relatives. That is the first reason. Fear of loss. Uh, and this is because of excessive attachment for the relatives and friends. Why this excessive attachment was there? Because of dehat buddhi, because of this misconception that I'm this body, and all these friends and relatives who are related with the body are mine. So this I and mine misconception. I and mine misconception. I am this body. This is the first misconception. And as soon as this misconception is there that I am this body, immediately the second misconception is generated that he is my relative. All these people are related to me. Uh, As soon as we think I am this body, at that very moment we identify with so many people who are connected with the body. And somebody becomes our mother, father, brother, children, wife, husband, and countrymen, and all these things. There is no end to this. So in this way, Arjuna also he developed this misconception. First misconception that I am this body, and immediately the second misconception was developed that all these relatives are my sojan, and he forgot. As soon as this misconception is generated that I am this body, immediately the reality is covered. What is the reality? That Krishna is our real well-wishing friend. Krishna is our actual relative. And we are actually part and parcel of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Krishna is my master. I am his eternal servant. I am eternally connected to him. And all other living entities are also eternally connected to him. He is actually master of all the living entities. He is actually well-wishing friend of all the living entities. And all the living entities are his part and parcel, and nobody is actually directly connected to me. So this is the reality, this is fact. But this fact or reality is covered as soon as a person, a living entity, gets into this misconception, illusion of considering oneself to be the body, the Atma. So Arjuna developed this, and that's why this became the first reason. Then second reason, from verse number 30 onwards, we discussed. Verse number 28 and 29 explains the first reason, uh, namely fear of losing relatives because of too much bodily attachment for them. And verse number 30, 31, 32 to 35, from verse number 30 to 35, this explains the reason, second reason, that there will be no happiness. Then why should I fight? So we were discussing about the second reason from verse number 32 to 35. So we'll continue this. I'll just recite the verses and read the translation, and then we'll go ahead. चिम्नु राज्येन गोविन्द किं भोगैर्जीवितेन वा येषामर्थे काङ्क्षितं नो राज्यं भोगा सुखानि च तायि मे अवस्थिता युद्धे प्राणं त्यक्त्वा धनानि च आचार्या पितरा पुत्रास्तथैव च पितामहा मातुला स्वसुरा पौत्रा स्याला सम्बन्धिनस्तथा एतान्नं हन्तुम् इच्छामि घनतोऽपि मधुसूदन अपि त्रैलोक्यराज्यस्य हेतो किं नु मही कृते निहत्या धार्तराष्ट्रान्न का प्रीति स्यात् जनार्दन. Very interesting. Arjuna is telling Lord Krishna, my dear Krishna, you are Janardhan. Janardhan means to be ended our discussion in this verse yesterday. So Arjuna is telling Krishna. He's addressing Krishna as Janardana. Janardana means, O maintainer of the living entities. That means, interestingly, Arjuna knows, even in his illusioned conception of life, in illusioned condition, illusory conception of life. He is illusioned right now, that considering himself to be the body and identifying others to be his relatives. But interestingly, he knows Krishna as Janardana, maintainer of the living entities. So this is also one important thing is that all the people in this world, especially those who are in India, Indians, those who are theist means those who believe in God, and those who accept Krishna, Lord Ramchandra, Narayana as the Supreme Lord. So they know that Krishna is the maintainer, Krishna is the Supreme Lord, but still because of excessive attachment, because of illusion of considering, identifying too much with the body, they know this fact also. This fact is also known to most of the Indian, most of the dharmic people, religious people, that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. Many of them, they know we are spirit soul. What to speak of other people, dharmic people, but even devotees in our society, we can say, ISKCON society, many devotees, all the devotees, they know that we are not this body, we are spirit soul, and Krishna is the actual maintainer, proprietor, the Supreme Lord, controller of everything. But in spite of knowing all these facts very well, but it cannot be said that they know it very well. Those devotees who, in spite of knowing all these things, still they act on the platform of bodily conception. Still they maintain this attachment. This is my body. This body is myself. My sole duty is to provide facilities for the body and use body for sense gratification. And these all are my relatives and friends, and maintaining the attachment of I and mine. And my purpose is to increase this attachment, to take care of the attachment of this body. So because of this, even the devotees who are not firmly fixed in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness, they also sometimes act on the platform of body in spite of practicing Krishna consciousness, not so properly practicing, but they try to practice. But still they act. They consider Krishna to be a third person, ISKCON to be a third entity, and service to Krishna and ISKCON to be means some kind of good activity, religious activity, or even devotional activity, but not pure devotional activity. But they think, yeah, it is good it will help me to become free from bondage of material existence. But actually, this is not the philosophy. We don't serve Krishna just to become free from the uh, this miserable situation of material existence. We don't serve Krishna just considering Krishna to be some third person who may help me or my family to become happy in this life and in the next life, either materially or spiritually, doesn't matter. Although that is good, so we are discussing philosophy right now. So, so we want to establish the hardcore philosophy, the perfect philosophy. So, although this is good, this is better than not accepting Krishna. Anyone who accepts Krishna and serves Krishna with any motivation, even for material benefit and spiritual benefit for himself and for his family and friends and relatives, that is also good. There is no doubt about it. And Krishna is very merciful. If some devotee is there, if he is simply engaged like this also, and in the service of Krishna throughout his life, Krishna is very merciful. He awards his pure devotional service to such a person also, and gradually that person becomes free from the misconception. So this is the way. The way is that one some or other get connected to Krishna, and some or other one is able to render service to Krishna. Some or other any living entity, whether in illusion state or free from illusion. Akamo sarva kamo va moksha kamo udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeda purusham param. That is the verdict of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukadeva Goswami says, whether you are akama, sarva kama, or moksha kama. Akama means free from all material desires. Sarva kama, your heart is filled with all kinds of material desires. Moksha kama, or you desire liberation from this material existence. Tivrena, what you should do to achieve highest perfection. Highest perfection is to get attached to the lotus feet of Krishna. That is the highest perfection. So if somebody desires anybody, whether akama, sarvakama, moksha kama, if he tivrena bhakti yogena, if he intensely serves Krishna, then he will attain that perfection. And there is no doubt about it. Krishna will make some arrangement. He will induce that person to come in contact association of the devotees, and as soon as he will come, that person will come in the association of devotees. The devotees will teach him, and being respectful to the devotees, considering devotees to be Krishna's devotees, the person who is attached materially, she will gradually become free from this illusion, and he will, with full heart, he will surrender to Krishna. So that is the end result. But right now we are discussing about the very fact that uh, what kind of different kinds of illusion are there. So this is also a category of illusion where a person, although he knows Krishna is the Supreme Lord, I am his eternal servant, I am his spirit soul, but still, because of excessive attachment, he is unable to act on that platform. Still, he is considering Krishna to be some third entity, not that Krishna is the my master, actual master, and master of all my relatives and friends. So so in that platform also, that devotee may act like this, just like Arjuna here. He is telling Krishna that Krishna, you are Janardhan. Janardhan means maintainer of the living entities. Oh, maintainer of all living entities. You are maintaining all the living entities. So why you do not wish to maintain my relatives and friends? So that is the question Arjuna is asking over here indirectly. Krishna, you are Janardhan. But Arjuna should know Krishna is Janardhan, but why he is Janardhan? That should also be known. Huh? Krishna is maintainer of all the living entities. That's good. That's very good. You know this and you accept this. That Krishna, you are Janardhan. You are maintainer of all the living entities. But one should also know why Krishna is Janardhan. Why? And how Krishna is Janardhan. And what Krishna does to maintain all the living entities. These facts also should be known. Otherwise, one may say, Krishna, you are the supreme controller, you are maintainer. Huh? Uh, please maintain my family. Please maintain my material establishment. Uh, that bhajan is there, the arti they sing in India. Uh, uh, what is that? Om Jai Jagadish Hare. They sing. The सब कुछ तेरा, तेरा तुझको अर्पण, क्या लागे मेरा. They say like this. Everything belongs to you. Everything is meant for you. I offer everything to you. So then why you are demanding? सुख संपत्ति घर आवे कष्ट मिटे तन का. Then you should not demand. If you are demanding like this, that means you are considering Krishna to be order supplier. You are thinking Krishna, you are very powerful. You are the controller, but you should supply me. You should control things in such a manner so that myself and my family members, they may become materially very well situated. So this is a separatist mentality. One is separating himself from Krishna. One is separating all other things from Krishna. One is accepting Krishna to be powerful, but is not accepting that Krishna is actually the soul of all the living entities. Actually, he is the most beloved friend of all the living entities. Everyone has the relationship with the Supreme God. So Arjuna is also in the illusioned state. Arjuna is telling, you are Janardhan, so why do you not wish to maintain my friends and relatives? So Arjuna should also know that Krishna knows what is best for all the living entities because he is Janardhan. If you are addressing Krishna as Janardhan, then you should be convinced that whatever Krishna does, that is the best for all the living entities because he is Janardhan, he is the maintainer of all the living entities. So he knows what is best for me and what is the best for all the other living entities. Sometimes this question is asked, why Krishna means when something bad happens with anybody in this world, something bad incidents happens, especially if something happens with the devotees. And so the people, they ask this question: if Krishna is the Supreme Lord, Krishna is very powerful, why Krishna doesn't protect them? Why Krishna uh, he allowed this bad thing to happen with the people? Why he should allow? But okay, this is good that you accept Krishna is very powerful. That means Krishna allowed, and Krishna is the main sanctioner. Krishna is powerful, Krishna is controller. But you should also accept the fact that Krishna is also supremely intelligent. He knows what is best for each and every living entities, and he knows uh, how to organize things in the life of a devotee so that he can become fully surrendered to me. So in this way, one should also accept this fact. Also, Arjuna should have accepted this fact that okay, if Krishna is Janardana, he is actual maintainer of all the living entities. So if Krishna wants that all these living entities to die in this battlefield, that means by this he is going to maintain them spiritually. By this he is going to do good to them. So this Arjuna should know and accept. But this fact is unknown to Arjuna. Why? Because he was too much bodily engrossed because of this misconception. Having this excessive attachment and considering his friends and relatives to be his friends and relatives, because of this misconception, as soon as he developed this misconception that these warriors are my relatives, my friends and relatives, immediately he forgot that Krishna is actually their real well-wisher, their real well-wishing friend. So whatever Krishna will do, that will be good for him. That's why he is asking this question. Ka priti sya Janardana? What kind of pleasure you will get, Janardana? Huh? What kind of pleasure we will get by killing Nihatya Dhartarashtrana? By killing the sons of Dhritarashtra, what kind of pleasure we will get? And you also, what kind of pleasure you will get? So in this way, Arjuna is asking this question. So Arjuna has addressed Lord Krishna as Govinda because Krishna is the object of all pleasures for cows and the senses. By using this significant word, Arjuna indicates that Krishna should understand what will satisfy Arjuna's senses. But Govinda is not meant for satisfying our senses. So Arjuna has addressed Krishna in this verse. Kim nurajena Govinda, Kim bhogair jivitena va. Yo, my dear Govinda, Govinda, your name is Govinda. That means you give pleasure to your senses of your devotees. So why you should deprive me from the sense enjoyment? What kind of sense enjoyment? When all these friends and relatives will be present, then only I will get my senses, I will become happy. So you are Govinda. So how can you take away my happiness? So this is not at all good. But Arjuna should understand that Krishna's name is Govinda, and so Govinda certainly means one who gives pleasure to cows and senses. Go means cows, go means senses also. So definitely Krishna gives pleasure to cow and senses of his devotees. But in what sense he gives pleasure? He gives pleasures when the senses of the devotees are engaged in the service, favorable service of Govinda. Then the senses derive pleasure, enjoyment from Krishna. But if we try to satisfy senses, however, then automatically our own senses are satisfied. Materially, everyone wants to satisfy his senses, and he wants God to be the order supplier for such satisfaction. The Lord will satisfy the senses of the living entities as much as they deserve, but not to the extent that they may covet. So, yes, certainly, Krishna is Govinda. He satisfies the senses of his devotees, and not just devotees. Krishna is willing to give pleasure to the senses of those who are not non-devotees also, but as much as they deserve, as much as they perform activities, pious activity, accordingly Krishna gives them. But one cannot demand the sense pleasure from Govinda unrestrictedly. But when one takes the opposite way, namely, when one tries to satisfy the senses of Govinda without desiring to satisfy one's own senses, then by the grace of Govinda, all desires of the living entity are satisfied. So Arjuna's deep affection for community and family members is exhibited here partly due to his natural compassion for them. He is therefore not prepared to fight. Everyone wants to show his opulence to friends and relatives. But Arjuna fears that all his relatives and friends will be killed on the battlefield and he will be unable to share his opulence after victory. This is a typical calculation of material life. This is a typical calculation of material life. Any materialist desires to show his opulences to his friends and relatives, and that is what is his sense gratification. This is this is also one of the sense gratification of a materialist. One time, Srila Prabhupada went to Pune. So in Pune, there was one life member, very rich life member. He was, of course, very favorable to devotees and Srila Prabhupada, and he helped Srila Prabhupada. So that is very good thing. But just to mention this thing, but he was a materialist. So there devotees are also two kinds of devotees. Materialist devotees, third class and neophyte devotees are considered Prakrit Bhakta or materialistic devotees. And another category is Shuddha Bhakta, pure devotees. Pure devotees means Anyabhilasita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukullena Krishnanu Silanam Bhaktiruttam. So those who desires nothing except service to Krishna, those who desire just to give pleasure to the senses of Krishna, they are known as pure devotees. Aprakrit Bhakta or transcendental devotees. On the opposite, there are devotees, Prakrit Bhakta, they also serve Krishna. They also accept Krishna as a Supreme Lord. But their intention is not to satisfy Krishna's senses, but their intention is by serving Krishna, we will become satisfied. We will become happy materially. So in this way, their conception is a different conception. So they are known as Prakrit Bhakta, materialistic devotees. So one such person, he invited Prabhupada, and he was very favorable, very respectful and favorable to Prabhupada. So when he invited Prabhupada to his home, and he had a big palace, very big palace. So one by one, he was introducing members of his family. So he introduced, she is my wife, and then he introduced, he is my son, and she is my daughter-in-law, and then he's my second son, and she is my second daughter-in-law, and he's my grandson, and she is the wife of grandson. In this way, the big family, he introduced all the family members, his own wife, children, and their uh, spouses, and then their children, and in this way, entire big family he introduced. And then finally he said, please bless all of us in this way. Prabhupada said, okay, Hare Krishna. Means he accepted, a nice person. But when he went away, Prabhupada mentioned, just to give the teachings to his disciple. So Srila Prabhupada said, just see this person, he was introducing family members. So he was in what he was introducing. So this is all my sex life. This is the result of the material attachment. So this is what is actually expansion of materialistic way of life. And one thinks one takes very pleasure, very much pleasure in having such kind of uh, this family life and all these things. But a devotee, he may have a big family. There's no restriction to this. But in the heart, a devotee is always fixed in this consciousness that nobody is actually my my children, my wife, my husband. Everyone is Krishna's servant. And I am servant of Krishna, so I am servant of all my family members. So that is the consciousness of a perfect devotee. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he also had two wives and I think 10 or 11 children, the big family. And he was a district magistrate, a householder devotee, a pure devotee. But he never thought that these are my children, these are my wives, my relatives. No. He always thought all these children, all these wives and children, they are nice devotees and servant of Krishna. So my duty is to serve them. And he organized his family life in such a manner that everyone was engaged in the service of the Lord continuously. That's why they thought, he thought always that my home is actually a Golok. Je dina kirtana haya grahe Goloka bhai. As soon as he used to say, when I used to come from my office, he was district magistrate. So all his children, some of them having mridanga and kartal, they used to play kirtan. So when he used to come and he used to hear the playing of mridanga and the kirtan is going on. So he used to think that this is not a home, this is Golok Vrindavan. And all these people, they are Krishna's devotee. I am very fortunate to have the association of devotees. So even in family life, a devotee uh, can maintain this attitude that I am living in the association of devotees. All these family members are devotees of Krishna. So in their association, my duty is to serve them, serve Krishna, and advance in Krishna consciousness. So this is a good attitude. So if somebody is having such kind of attitude, so he is actually not in householder life. He is in, he is better than a sannyasi. He is perfectly situated. He is living in Vaikuntha. Even while living in material household life also, he is living in Vaikuntha. But such kind of attitude is not so easily obtained. Only if a person who has taken complete shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, a pure devotee, and who understands the philosophy very much, and who has surrendered himself completely to the service of Krishna as per the guidance of such a bona fide spiritual master, he can come to this platform of perfect understanding, and he is then he becomes better than a sannyasi. So the transcendental life, however, is different. Since a devotee wants to satisfy the desires of the Lord, he can, Lord willing, accept all kinds of opulence for the service of the Lord. And if the Lord is not willing, he should not accept a far thing. That is a devotee. So Arjuna did not want to kill his relatives, and if there were any need to kill them, he desired that Krishna kill them personally. At this point, he did not know that Krishna had already killed them before their coming into the battlefield, and that he was only to become an instrument for Krishna. So this fact is disclosed in following chapters. As a natural devotee of the Lord, Arjuna did not like to retaliate against his miscreant cousins and brothers, but it was the Lord's plan that they should all be killed. The devotee of the Lord does not retaliate against the wrongdoer, but the Lord does not tolerate any mischief done to the devotee by the miscreants. The Lord can excuse a person on his own account, but he excuses no one who has done harm to his devotees. Therefore, the Lord was determined to kill the miscreants, although Arjuna wanted to excuse them. So Arjuna here, he is willing uh, to avoid this fighting, just just to avoid killing all those people, all those friends and relatives, even though etan na hantum ichhami ganato api madhusudana. Although they are determined to kill me, still, my dear Krishna, I do not wish to kill them. So this is what Arjuna is has declared. Okay. So with this, we shall stop here. Thank you very much. If anyone has any question, you can ask. Hare Krishna. Hare
आप
Krishna.
परपट फिर से दिखा सकते हैं क्या? उसमें एक लाइन
Yes.
थी जो मुझे समझ नहीं आई।
Okay. Now, your purport, I could not explain it fully because time is very limited. I just, yes. Which line?
At this point, he did not know that Krishna had already
Okay, okay.
killed them before they're coming into the battlefield.
Yeah, because Krishna has already decided. Krishna is Kala. Kala means the time factor. So Krishna has already decided that they are to be killed. That means Krishna has, in the form of time, Krishna has already killed them in future tense. So, but future tense, future time is also Krishna. So Krishna has already killed them in future. Uh, So that is why it is written. Krishna has already killed them. And similarly, all of us, we are already killed by Krishna. If we do not accept Krishna consciousness, we are already killed. So there is no use of maintaining such a big, heavy burden and declaring oneself to be, I am this, I am that. It's just an illusion. This is already finished. Yes, Kishori Devi Mataji, you have some question?
हरे
Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna.
प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Hare Krishna.
प्रभु जी, मैं हिंदी में ही पूछूंगी।
यस, पूछिए बिल्कुल।
प्रभु जी, जैसे बच्चे कॉलेज में भी नए नए जाते हैं तो रैगिंग वगैरह होती है और बहुत सारी जिम्मेदारियां दे दी जाती है बच्चों को और वो उस चीज से भागते हैं। तो जैसे अभी केस हुआ बेटी के यहाँ, मुझे आज पता चला कि सीआर वगैरह बनाया जाता है। सीआर में ये होता है कि सारी मतलब बहुत सारी उन लोग को मतलब काम दे दिया
हाँ,
जाता है, जो बच्चे भागते हैं कि मैं पढ़ाई करने आऊँ, ये काम नहीं करना। तो उसमें आज बच्ची को थोड़ा सा पैनिक अटैक आया, तो मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगा। तो मुझे लगा कि ऐसा क्यों होता है और इससे बचने के लिए या बच्चे थोड़ा सा नॉर्मल रहे और उसके लिए क्या करना चाहिए? आप क्या कहेंगे इसके लिए?
एक्चुअली ये डिपेंड करता है। इफ अगर किसी का मतलब ये क्या बोलते हैं, क्वालिटीज, स्वभाव स्वभाव के ऊपर निर्भर करता है। इस प्रकार की जो पैनिक सिचुएशंस होती हैं, समटाइम्स दिस पैनिक काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशंस आर हेल्पफुल फॉर अ स्टूडेंट टू ग्रो आल्सो। बट इफ समबडी इज हैज अ डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ स्वभाव, अलग प्रकार का स्वभाव है, तो ये पैनिक सिचुएशन में अगर वो अनकंफर्टेबल हो रहे हैं, देन दे शुड लीव दिस रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी। इस प्रकार की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को छोड़ना चाहिए और दे शुड फोकस ऑन व्हाट दे कैन डू, उसमें फोकस करना चाहिए। तो ये बेस्ट रहेगा, ये मैं यही सजेस्ट करूँगा कि जैसे सीआर की
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, इस
रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज
पर
होती
ये
है।
है कि यदि
हाँ,
जी ये प्रभु जी, यदि ये मुझे मतलब मुझे लगता है कि ऐसे बच्चे यदि गीता से जुड़े और ऐसे भगवान से जुड़ेंगे तो उन लोग का बिहेवियर भी थोड़ा चेंज होगा और स्ट्रांग फील करेंगे, क्योंकि वो भगवान पे डिपेंडेंट रहेंगे।
यस, हाँ, वो डेफिनेटली। तो टाइम को, हाँ, अगर डिवोटी कॉन्टेस्ट में अगर हम देखें तो डिवोटी शुड बी केयरफुल। भक्त जो होता है उसको केयरफुल रहना चाहिए कि अगर अगर इवन इफ ही कैन डू समथिंग much better in material life, still he should do that much which is absolutely necessary। भक्तों को केवल उतना ही करना चाहिए जितना जरूरत है। भक्त भी, कई कुछ भक्त होते हैं बहुत एक्सपर्ट होते हैं, बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं, समाज के लिए, देश के लिए बहुत सारी चीजें कर सकते हैं। बट उनको अननेसेसरी अपने टैलेंट को बहुत दिखाना नहीं चाहिए, क्योंकि फिर लोग उनको उनको इंगेज कर लेंगे, पूरा उधर ही लगा देंगे, फिर वो नहीं कर पाएगा, कृष्ण भक्ति में सेवा नहीं कर पाएगा, पॉसिबल ही नहीं हो पाएगा, खुद भी फंस जाएगा और फिर उसमें उसको इंटरेस्ट आने लग जाएगा, तो कर नहीं पाएगा। इसलिए जो वैष्णव आचार्य हुए, वो कभी ज्यादा अपने स्कॉलरशिप को प्रकट भी नहीं किए इसके लिए। तो डिवोटी मतलब इंटेलिजेंटली उसको टाइम बचाना चाहिए और जितना जरूरत है उतना ही करना चाहिए, बाकी कृष्ण भक्ति में लगाना चाहिए। दैट इज द बेस्ट थिंग। ओके, तो अभी समय हो गया है, मीटिंग एंड हो जाएगी विद इन 30 सेकेंड। थैंक यू वेरी मच। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम राम।